Hello everyone, and welcome to this live. Let us know if you can hear us, and let us know where you are in the world. And yeah, we're just going to go for a deep dive into what we've seen so far, and any questions you have. And we're probably going to go for about half an hour. So yeah, get your questions in. Hello, Ataku. Nice to see you again. And Auntie Memi, hi, welcome. And William, greetings from Norway, nice. And Rob from Germany, hello. So yeah, I just wanted to start off as well. I bought this book. I don't know if anyone's read it, but yeah, it just looks really interesting. So I'm looking forward to reading this. It's Brian Bates. He wrote something else that I can't remember, but he's pretty. I think he wrote a fantasy book. But yeah. Rennie, hi from Switzerland. Auntie Memi, from Los Angeles. You know LA, don't you?
A little bit. William, let me just ask you: does the name Martin Ødegaard mean anything to you? I hope it does.
Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Pickwood. Hi from the Netherlands. Wow, we've got loads of people from everywhere.
Hello, Mr. Pickwood from the Netherlands. That sounds slightly Dickensian, Mr. Pickwood.
It does.
Pickwick Papers.
Ataku, no, I have not read that. I flipped through the revised letters of J.R. Tolkien. Cool.
Very good.
Yeah, in case you haven't, maybe I didn't show it as well properly, but yeah, this is the book. Yeah, I've seen that book, The Letters of Tolkien. It's been in my Amazon basket for a while.
Okay.
But yeah.
Hello, everyone. Who's this?
Hi, Peter.
Hello, Peter. Hello, everybody. Yes, so here's an opportunity to cover anything we've looked at in the film so far. You have to remember, I'm no expert on Tolkien. I haven't read the books, and this is the first time I've looked at the film, although we are looking at the extended edition. And we've got up now to the point where Frodo's been injured. He's been taken in by Arwen Evenstar and is about to be delivered to Arwen's father, whose name is
Elrond.
Elrond. Yeah.
Hi, Tom from Vienna.
And
nice.
Hello to Vienna, Tom. Hi, good to see you.
Hi, Darren.
Hello, Peter. Hello, Darren.
The one thing that I like watching it this time and seeing everyone's comments, I didn't realize that when Arwen appears to Frodo, like as her, glowing, I didn't realize that was because Frodo was slipping into the
different state of consciousness.
Yeah, I thought that was just Arwen being like, "Ooh."
Well, yes. I mean, it could be both actually. Chris, still in boring Somerset. I think Somerset is beautiful actually. Another month until Athens. Right, I might be going to Athens shortly too. Peter putting on his turtleneck. Good. I don't know if you can see Peter, but this jumper I'm wearing today is a beautiful springtime compromise between the crew neck and the turtleneck, because it kind of only reaches halfway and doesn't roll over. It's actually a fisherman's jumper, would you believe it? Bought in Whitby, the land of the Goths. Hello, Fat Larry. Evening. So Otaku Senpai says Elrond counted as a half-elf and was given the choice to live as an elf or a mortal man. Arwen faces that same choice. Does Arwen face that choice at the point we're at in the film? That comes later, does it? Or in general, maybe? I think, yeah. I mean, I guess in general, yeah. Okay. Auntie Memi is telling me it's called a mock turtleneck. Very funny. I like that.
But yeah, well, what are you saying about?
Well, I think maybe it could be, I mean, obviously I'm no Tolkien expert, but perhaps it could be both. So on the one hand, when I first saw that scene, it did seem it was Arwen's own luminescence.
Yeah.
But then many of the comments said this was a representation of Frodo's own liminal state of consciousness. And of course
he's slipping into the world of the ring wraiths because he's been stabbed. And that Well, I mean, thinking of it from that point of view, it's quite poetic, isn't it? Or like, I don't know.
Well, it could be both, right?
Yeah.
It could be both. Auntie Mimi says she does know that choice, but in the film she's not made it quite yet. Okay. So she's aware of this play between mortality and immortality, I suppose. Right. Peter, thank you for that.
Okay. Yes, Tom.
Yes. Oh my goodness me, this could be it.
Change the name of your YouTube.
What the hell am I going to do in summer? I'm just going to have to sweat it out. I'm going to have to keep the lamb's wool on and just wear short. At least people can't see my lower half, so I'll be in shorts and flip-flops. Is there such a thing as a lightweight turtleneck for summer? We'll have to come into that.
I'm not
Probably not. Yes, so that was very interesting about the status of Arwen and the fact that she is Arwen Evenstar. Is she known as Arwen Evenstar in the film or just in the books?
I'm not sure, actually.
Right.
I thought it was Arwen Evenstar, but I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Yeah, because the evening star is Venus, as was pointed out in one of the comments. Do not become a ninja. Chris, there's really very, very little chance of that ever happening, I reassure you. Okay, here we go. Auntie Memi. In book lore, when Frodo was stabbed on Weathertop, a piece of the knife was left in the wound, making its way to his heart. That is why he's living to the wraith world. All right. Interesting. So maybe we're supposed to think about that. So in that sense, he's kind of contaminated.
Oh, she's called that in the movie, yeah. Sorry, go on, Robert.
Arwen Evenstar, she's called that in the movie later. Yeah, it's a beautiful name, actually. But yeah, Evenstar, Venus, Hesperus. So Morgul, yes, learn more about as the story progresses. Which character? Well, of the ones I've met so far, I am curious about Arwen because she seems to have this intermediary status and seems, I think, deliberately the hardest to grasp. And, you know, she does have that slightly elusive quality. So, yeah, I find her quite interesting, actually. And I find the elves in general quite interesting. Yeah. I mean, there was a comment saying, because I think I'd said they were sort of saintly, and I was corrected in one of the comments by somebody who said, no, they're more like angels, which I agree with. But even angels, I'm wondering, isn't completely right for them. I think they're more like classical wood nymphs in the kind of classical tradition from Virgil, perhaps, Ovid a little bit, that sort of Roman kind of late Latin. But
that's only that's at this point in the story, I suppose. Yeah. At this point in the story, the more like wood nymphs. I wonder if as you go on and you meet more elves, that might change.
Yeah, maybe.
Like they might become more like angels or something. I don't know, but
yeah. And when I think of the word angel, because I'm obsessed with etymology, I think of as I'm sure some people know on the call,
the call. Not used to YouTube.
On the Zoom. The word angel comes from a Greek word angelos, which means a messenger. So here we go.
The Evenstar of her people.
Aww. Okay. So in that sense, she represents a direction, like a lodestar in some senses. But her role in the book is much smaller. Okay.
That's true. Yeah, she's not a lot in the book, but I don't think that takes away from her character. I think in a way the fact that she's not so much in the book and she's referenced a lot, like she's talked about a lot, I think that kind of in a way that creates a character as well, doesn't it? Like it creates a mystique around her. And but then it's like, how do you write like such a kind of perfect character?
Well, that raises, I think, an interesting question about the difference between book and film, because I was thinking about Aristotle's rules of poetry, where he says, it's kind of always better to allude to things rather than present things. Whereas actually, if you're making a movie, you kind of have to present things,
Yeah.
don't you? There's only so much referring to other people that you can do without presenting the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like water.
Oh, sorry, I've gone past. They tried to pierce the heart with a Morgul blade. If they had succeeded, they would have been like any weak under the command. Yeah.
So the blade is transformed. It's not supposed to just end life, but to transform life. Right. So it's like a kind of inoculation of some kind.
I wonder if there's any other people that have been stabbed by the Morgul blade and they're just wandering around as wraiths.
Transformed into the wraiths.
Yeah.
Right.
Film Arwen is an
amalgam
of a couple of characters. In the book lore, she barely shows up except as Aragorn's love interest. Understandably, Jackson and crew needed to find a way to make her more active. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she does seem to provide a balance, I suppose, to Strider. Well, at what point does Strider become Aragorn?
Well, he always kind of remains Strider to the hobbits.
So Strider is his hobbit name?
No. I think it's just because he's got different names for different people. Different people have different names for him.
I see.
But I think when they get to Rivendell, to Elrond's house, I think when they see other people calling him Aragorn,
right?
But then some of the hobbits always call him.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings is a text that takes on concepts of good, evil very seriously. Could you share any concepts of good, evil from philosophy that you find interesting?
Yeah, well, I was thinking earlier of Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche. And I was thinking of Nietzsche because there was a reference to the world of Tolkien being created out of music. This was a comment that came up that I was reading today. And Nietzsche's first book, The Birth of Tragedy, actually had the full title, The Birth of Tragedy Out of the Spirit of Music, which I find kind of fascinating. But of course, for Nietzsche, he's talking about going beyond good and evil. And he's saying that the concepts of good and evil are hijacked as moral absolutes by the church. And actually, we need as individuals to pass beyond those entirely through an effort of will. And although The Lord of the Rings seems to be organized quite a lot around good and evil, certainly in this film version, I'm sure the book's more complex, there is a sense that actually those complete opposites won't do, and there's a lot more ambiguity, that some people are a bit good and a bit evil too. Saruman is probably the first one we're introduced to where we expect somebody to be an ally, pure ally of Gandalf, I think, and actually he turns out to be not quite that. He's a bit in the middle. The wraiths, even the wraiths, I was talking about this last time, there is something pitiful about them, because even though they are obviously awful in all sorts of ways, their plight, their fate is dreadful.
Yeah, because they were tricked.
Right? Yeah. And I just want to acknowledge Natman Prime's comment there about messengers being amoral. They couldn't do their job properly, like water. Yes, they have that slightly fungible character, I suppose. They're neutral, I suppose. So now we're reading Jay Reese. Thank you for this comment. I think the Maia, who are the Maia, like Gandalf?
I don't know, actually. I think they're a kind of higher group of people.
Yeah. Well, like angels and demons. Well, it's interesting. The word demon, or at least daemon in the Greek spelling, might be more appropriate for the elves, as spirits of the place, because they seem to be located, as far as I can tell.
Well, they're bound to the earth, that kind of thing. Yeah,
they're like the notion of a kind of genius loci, spirit of the place in a way.
Yeah, you should read his Dark Materials, because they've got daemons in them.
Yeah.
I was watching the HI Ren video and think it would be great to include in Frodo's struggle with himself.
Okay, what's the HI Ren video? I don't know what that is.
As he saw the ring race in the spirit realm, luminosity. So he saw Arwen. Only. Oh, Glorfindel in the books, and only so because he was an elf and had been born in the Undying Lands, giving him extra mojo.
Extra mojo. Yeah, exactly. Actually, mojo is not a bad word for this sort of spiritual energy which seems to come and go. And in a certain sense, although it comes from a completely different tradition, it's a bit sort of like what the ring has. It kind of gives or withdraws. Yeah, mojo. I want to reiterate that the healing provided by the elves is not magical. Okay. May seem magical for those who don't understand their healing skills, though. Oh, interesting. So if it's not magical, it's what? Just practical? It's expedient? It's...
I guess it's like knowledge and skills and...
Right. Traditional.
Yeah.
Folkish.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more folk.
Yeah. There are lots of comments here, and apologies if we don't get to every single comment. We're doing our best to respond to as many as we possibly can. It's wonderful, though, to see them all. Thank you.
Both elves and men are the children of Eru. The elves came first and are mortal but wane in power over time. They're supposed to act as guides to men who are supposed to inherit the world. That sounds a lot like the angels then.
So Eru, God, small g, but is Eru the kind of Zeus of Middle Earth? Is that the highest being that there is?
I think, yeah. Eru is God, in Middle Earth.
Okay, so in the kind of cosmology of Middle Earth, there's no higher power than Eru.
No, but also I think I remember reading that there's no... the people of Middle Earth aren't aware of any god. They don't actually pray to a god.
Right. So actually, Eru would be more like Kronos and Kairos than Zeus, a kind of antecedent metaphysical power, maybe.
Oh, right. I don't know that. The Silmarillion begins with the music of Ainur, the first creations of Eru. Oh, Eru.
Eru, the One. And Eru is known as the One. That's very interesting. I mean, I think there's a whole... There must be, I'm sure people have commented on this, there must be a whole analysis that one could do on the relationship between a kind of monotheism and polytheism in this world. Because it seems to pitch between the two, like a world of many creatures to worship, but ultimately perhaps only one, as an Eru.
Yeah. How does it affect your view of Gandalf to learn that he is a celestial being given a physical form?
Well, it's interesting because, I have only seen the movies so far, and Gandalf is played by Sir Ian McKellen. Sir Ian, who we used to see on our neighbourhood beat in London. And he seemed very much of the earth. So there's nothing so far that suggests, I think, in the film, something celestial about him. Certainly something playful, mercurial, capable of hermetic skills. He's a little bit of a romancer, but something celestial, I'm not sure. So I'm slightly surprised here.
Well,
how does it affect my view? Well, it makes me slightly surprised is the answer, actually, Otaku Senpai.
Aragorn has always been Aragorn, but gone under many names. So he's got like different names from...
But the names are ones attributed to him, or ones he adopts?
Attributed to him.
To him, right. It's not like...
Like Strider, like that was just given to him.
It's not like he's a sort of shapeshifter who's trying to...
No.
Right, okay.
Aragorn probably didn't want everyone knowing exactly who he is, so he went by Strider.
I see. So there's an element of disguise in that, I suppose. Right.
Aragorn Ranger. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Aragorn was moving around as a ranger for a long time to keep an eye on the realm under the guise of Strider.
Yeah, so there is an element of guise and disguise there. Okay. Here's an interesting comment. The One Ring is a declaration of war against free will. So in that sense, One Ring, I think what you're implying, the this is the person with the catchy name F7024-F3P. I think what you're implying there is the One Ring has an association of autocracy to it, or even despotism, I think, in the tone that you're suggesting there, insofar as free will would be agency that would belong to the people, insofar as there are people in this world. So the One Ring, yeah.
You mentioned before the word coming before creation. Tolkien made its song, and the world being the incarnation of the song.
That's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, which also, raises the question of the relationship between the word and song. And in that Nietzsche book, he talks about the dithyramb, which is an early form of Greek lyric, as a kind of fusion, I suppose, of word and music. He's obsessed with early Greek drama, and perhaps that would be a sort of an answer to what you're thinking about there, Darren, about how these two modes, I suppose, come together, word and song. Yeah.
Mr. Pickwood, Maia, angel-like beings.
Yeah, angel. Oh, hang on. Are Maia the same
Maia
as
is like Gandalf and Saruman, and.
So does that mean like adept or master, Maia? Is that what a Maia is, basically?
I don't know.
Okay.
David, Tolkien's evil is often presented as words that mean twist, like wraith, wrath,
and right withy. Very interesting. That's very interesting. I mean, it reminds me. I mean, the word vice, comes from a word for turning, like vicious. Is all to do with turning and twisting. The devil speaks with, forked tongue. He's a glozing serpent in Milton.
Maia, the wizards sent to inspire the free people to resist Sauron.
Right,
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, these are all stuff that aren't in the films,
right?
So, but I guess
so. It's all derived from the books, is it, really? Right. Okay.
Things start as good, but are turned to bad.
Okay, David, I see. Interesting.
The Valar are essentially gods of
under the creator
Eru. The Maia are lesser beings. It's basically okay. So maybe if they're angels, then maybe the.
But it sounds like whatever there is a hierarchy, just as there is a genealogy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an order, both kind of.
It seems to be like an order of kind of ability, like kind of supernatural ability.
Order of competence, but also an order of time as well. Who comes first?
But then later on, when you meet like Galadriel from the voiceover, I don't know, like she seems to me kind of pretty kind of up there. But then I don't know, maybe technically
she's
not.
Like from the source in a way. Rob might it is said that there's no actual good and evil. Yeah, both are just the poles of the same magnet. Well, indeed, yeah. And in the mystical tradition of Hermeticism, in Hermes Trismegistus, I think that's very much played upon, Rob. Maybe you know that book, The Secret History of the World, which I'd recommend if you're not familiar with it.
There is only one God. Yeah, that's good to know.
Okay.
What is your thought about the military software company?
Founded by Peter Thiel. Oh, yes, that's right. It came up, didn't it? It's interesting. Yes, I was listening to that in the news the other day, and I did this double take.
What's that? I don't know that.
So Peter Thiel is a very famous, very wealthy investor.
Yeah.
Advocate of free markets, libertarian, as Tom says here. And he has a company called Palantir, which was in the news.
Oh, the Seeing Stone.
Yeah. So he named his company after the Seeing Stone. And it was in the news recently because it produces military software. And I think there was some discussion about where the software should or shouldn't be deployed, Ukraine and other places.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It would be clear to describe the wizards and Sauron as physical manifestations if angelic beings. Sauron, being a fallen Maia, only has a faint memory of the divine. The wizards have foregone use. Actually, yeah, that's really interesting. Sauron being fallen. angel then. Like, yeah, so what you said in the first episode, like the intro, is correct, isn't it? About
like Lucifer.
Sauron being Lucifer, yeah.
Here we go. J. Reese, the god of this universe. Oliver, okay, but below him, and then the Maia. Right, okay. Yeah, there's a lot more to it. I'm sure there is. I'm sure somewhere there must be a sort of diagram of these orders. Would be helpful to see.
Yeah, it might be in my book.
So what's Auntie Mimi there say? There is that also, any advanced technology looks like magic to the uninformed, the primitive. Well, yes, very well said. Yeah. Right, elves have had thousands and thousands of years to put their skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the other striking thing to me thus far. It's not just that there are orders, hierarchies. Rilke has this phrase actually about hierarchies of angels, but anyway, but the scale of things. I mean, this is a book on a large scale, isn't it? Or a film on a large scale. But I think what makes it work is that it does focus that on individual character.
Yeah, that's true. Considering it's such a big, wide world, it's focused on, like, the main character is the smallest in the film.
Eru is the Abrahamic. Interesting. There is only one God. Yes. Okay. The God, the creator. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there's this like whole thing of oh, actually, you haven't met an eagle yet.
I haven't met an eagle.
It's in the next. It's in the next scene.
Is it?
Okay, we'll come back to that question.
I actually drove past an eagle today in Oxfordshire. I drove past a sea eagle.
There's only one God. Aries Abrahamic, yes.
Okay.
Tolkien described the magic of the Elves more as enchantment, and the magic of Sauron is real magic because it has the power to shape and transform things, such as creating industry.
Yes, there was a comment earlier about Sauron industry, which I quite liked. There is something about them in the forge, creating these creatures, which seems a little bit industrial era. Good name, by the way, Me and My Piano. There's that brilliant song, No One Knows Me Like My Piano. I wonder if Me and My Piano knows that song. Won the Mercury Prize years ago by, what's his name? Not Sage. Anyway.
So William, I feel like Nietzsche might have been in the back of Tolkien's mind when writing about Sauron and the Ring. Lord of the Rings could have read as a critique of moral nihilism and the will to power.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's interesting, William, but I wonder if there's also a sense in which some effort of will is required as well, even of the goodies in the film. And there is, it seems to me, and what do I know? I haven't read the books, I've only seen a little bit of the film. It seems to me there is a suggestion that, or at least an invitation, as in Nietzsche, to individuate, not just to be simply swept along by these huge forces that are in place, whether they are good or ill, genealogical or otherwise. But, there is room for, let's call it free will, if not will to power. But it's one to debate.
The Maiar are restricted from using their powers in any sort of blatant way during the mission to save Middle-earth. Yeah, I kind of read about this. So like Gandalf is kind of he can't help them too much. Basically, he's not allowed to, but he can.
Yeah.
I like this comment.
Nothing on the etymology of Mojo. Well, I was wondering actually about what it must be, and I thought, is it a Cajun word? Is it a West African word taken over into the southern United States? Maybe. I don't know. It could be because that J in it could be something Spanish, but I wondered if maybe, anyway, first prize to the person who Googles it. Quickest mojo.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't spoil this universe for you. Yeah. No, I don't think it's going to spoil it for you. I think...
No, I like it.
From Nin, Gandalf and Saruman were tasked by the Valar to help men defeat Sauron without taking the autonomy away. So he hides his power and cloaked an old man giving wisdom. I do like that idea of being in an old man's body, but having to help. Well, it's I don't know why I'm not looking at you saying old man. I'm just
pleased to hear it.
Yes, you get a 1,000 reviews doing a reaction for HI Ren, and he made it free, fair use.
I've never even heard of HI Ren. I'm so sorry, Peter. Could you just pop in the chat what HI Ren is? And I'm sorry to be so ignorant. But sounds like a good one. Squirrel Wrangler, there's a good name. Arda, the world was created through music of the Ainur. All right, yeah, so music is at the origin. I see magic as being connected to the music. Very nice. Yeah, so what is Squirrel Wrangler? If you look at the Silmarillion, especially the picture of the Lúthien, magically, feats are performed via songs. Yeah, so song is like a enchantment, to use the word from the comment a moment ago. So that seems to be the function of it. Enchantment, it's a bit siren-like.
And there's lots of songs in the book. Like it's riddled with songs, yeah, and poetry.
Like a sort of Shakespeare play, Shakespeare comedy.
Yeah, and there's like poems about, like, all that gold doesn't glitter.
All that glitters is not gold.
All that glitters isn't gold. That's from Lord of the Rings. And I'm sure the poem about Strider is there's some line in that's famous. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay. Thank you for all the comments, by the way.
And yeah, thank you.
It's wonderful. And again, apologies if we don't manage to respond to every single one.
Let me just get...
Oh, William's a musicology student. Very good. Have you studied music? No, not formally.
But you love music.
I'm learning the piano, William.
Robert loves jazz as well. Loves jazz. Angel. Okay, so it's pretty blatant that they're angels.
Yeah,
which is good to know. Pippin doesn't know what a wizard is and thinks Denethor looks more wizardy. That's it. You don't need to know that. We'll get to that.
Okay, all right, good. Ignorance is bliss. Arthur C. Clarke reference.
Well, actually, there's an interesting thing that Tolkien didn't like Dune.
Didn't like Dune?
Yeah, he was like sent a copy of Dune to write a, when
was Dune published then?
70s.
When did Tolkien die?
Around 70s, I think. But no, when authors give like quotes on the back of a book, I think he was sent one. He refused to endorse it. He didn't like it.
Fair enough.
It's good. You liked Dune.
Galadriel's been live long enough to see the light of the two trees, which still shines in. Right.
Oh, I love those poetic bits in the books.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Reese, this is, I think the lighting in the film is very interesting. I mean, this is like heavyweight philosophical term I'm just going to throw in. But there is particularly because there's a reference to the one a moment ago, but there is this Greek word, some of you may know, the word for being in Greek is ousia, O-U-S-I-A. But there's a word parousia, which is like super being, a super presence, often associated with the arrival of a higher being, like a king or a queen. And I was thinking about that in relation to Arwen Evenstar as well, that she kind of gives off this sense of parousia, an overwhelming presence, like her being is, she's so full of being that it can only be expressed as light, I suppose.
Yeah. Tolkien translated and championed Beowulf, I think really underscores how Beowulf itself is balancing pagan Norse saga and mindset with medieval Christianity.
Well, indeed, and quite a lot of gore. Yeah.
And naked Angelina Jolie, if you watch the movie.
There's a movie of Beowulf.
Yeah, well, it's like animated.
Oh, right, okay.
I went to see it in 3D when it came out.
Yeah. Who's the beast in Beowulf called? Begins with a G.
I'm just.
Yeah, let's take a couple more and then we'll begin to wind up, I think. So we'll let you get on with your days. Let's maybe go to Foe 7. I don't think we've heard from Foe 7.
Tolkien sets up contrast between eternal flame creation, the flame.
And the dark flame. Yeah. Yes, different types of flame. What's Foe 7 up there? The ring raised deal with Sauron, a monkey's poor wish. And deal with the devil where they get not in the way they wanted. All right, like be careful what you wish for kind of thing. Or like there's some taboo there. Yeah. 1965 was the year he died. According to Rob.
Oh, really?
Right.
So when was Dune written?
I guess it was earlier than that. Right, okay, so.
Let me see.
Philosophical series on Dune, yeah.
We actually did do a one video on Dune, but we just looked at one scene because that was what we initially started out just looking at one scene from movies, and then we did Lord of the Rings, and it
Grendel, that's right.
It was really popular, so we thought we'd do the whole movie.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Boratino. Yes, Grendel. Thank you for jogging my memory there. Oh, Star Trek. Oh gosh, yeah.
Star Trek. You said that you wanted to watch Star Trek.
Well, we were thinking earlier. I mean, since we're talking about.
Oh, Dune was published in the 60s. Sorry, carry on.
Was it? Dune was published in the 60s. Gosh, was it written by Frank Herbert? No.
Yeah,
it was. No, we were thinking as well of doing themes like other forms of knowing, like telepathy, for example, and things like that, and the uncanny, which I'm quite interested in. Other forms of knowledge, intuition. But anyway, John Andrews says, I'm a big Tolkien fan and came across this. Wouldn't it be great? I still listen mostly because I'm curious, but to be honest, I don't think much of it gets what Lord of the Rings really is. No. That's 100% true, John. I probably don't get
that. Oh yeah, on Tolkien's grave, him and his wife have got the names are he's put the names as Beren and Lúthien, and that's a story that he created.
That's where we went, right? We listed it.
Yeah.
The graves are just down the road from where we are making this video. Actually, they're about just a 15-minute drive down the road.
Yeah. 1973.
Oh, not 60. So June was 65 and Tolkien died in 73.
No.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Cool. Okay. Should we wrap up then?
Yeah. Let's begin to wrap up.
So yeah, we'll get the next video out in the next few days. We're going to film tomorrow, and sorry, I like this comment, Chris. So I had to let the dog out.
Is it okay to turn my underwear inside out and wear them twice as long? Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Peter. Go for it. Sure.
Yes, it's fine. Also, you can just if you leave underwear long enough, something magical happens. It
becomes self-cleaning, does it? Okay. There you go. Yeah, we do live tips as well. Thank you, Peter.
Would you consider watching The Exorcist?
I have seen The Exorcist. Yeah, it's extraordinary film. I mean, completely spooked me, of course. And I watched it, I think, when it came out when I was quite young. So I was petrified. But yeah, we could potentially look at that.
Oh, thanks, Dean.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, everybody. It's really fantastic to see all your comments. Apologies again, we couldn't respond to every single one.
I think we did a really good job. Thanks, Auntie Memmy. I like your name.
Yes, I like Auntie Memmy. So we'll be recording some more.
And any if you have any recommendations for stuff for Robert to give his philosophical take on, then that's welcome as well.
Indeed. Oh, and do please, subscribe and
Yes,
share,
please subscribe. Yes,
and all of that stuff, and keep commenting and so on, because when we're faced with such an epic task, we need a bit of motivation, and it's nice to feel your support and encouragement and engagement. So yeah, please do keep supporting us. Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you for this live stream. It's been really nice interacting with everyone and seeing you all interact with each other. And Lawrence of Arabia. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. T.E. Hume. He was at my college. But anyway, Lawrence of Arabia. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Nice to see you all. See you again online soon. I think we'll try and do another live next week?
I think
maybe?
next week, yeah.
Maybe Sundays are going to become a regular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Blade Runner, of course. Yeah.
Keep posting them, keep watching them. Good, I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna get through it.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So we'll see you in the next live and the next video. And have a good evening. And thank you for coming. So yeah, we appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Bye.